How did you start this project, and how do you start to collaborate with a Vogue in Singapore?
Yeah, I'm Jin. I'm a co-founder, chief product officer of Spatial. So I started Spatial 6 years ago with my co-founder Anand, and we started as a VR collaboration, AR VR collaboration platform for the enterprise, which means that you can join a meeting from anywhere as a 3D hologram, as if you're in the same room. So that product actually has transformed a lot during the pandemic. So we realized that there are a community of creators and artists and brands who are really excited about using Spatial, not just for collaboration or meetings, but also for exhibit, raise their awareness of the brand, having like NFT art exhibit in the virtual 3D space, and have parties and celebrate some kind of events or contents that they release. So we expanded to the metaverse for culture, which means like anyone who has an idea about, who has content that they want to sort of build a community around, can come into Spatial, really easily set up your room, bring in community and celebrate, and have this kind of ritual of like amazing sort of moments with people who you want to interact with and who care about your brand and interested in your art. So that's been like a really kind of short summary of Spatial's kind of genesis. And yeah, so I'm leading product and art, of course, the management and the marketing with Gia. So
I am Giovanna Valentina, and I oversee marketing and partnerships at Spatial. When we talk about Vogue and we talk about this collaboration with Vogue Singapore, Laha said, we are the metaverse for culture. And so we're always exploring different partners who span, preserve culture, and also help, find the next wave of amazing, great, undiscovered artists. So, our partnership with Vogue Singapore, really started that conversation almost 6 months ago. And they were looking for a home in the metaverse for their artists and to champion other digital artists in this. So for us, it felt like the perfect match, in the metaverse. And so the Vogue Singapore collaboration starts with the September issue of the magazine. And on the September issue, there is a QR code on the physically printed version of the cover that scans into the Vogue Singapore Fashion's New World, which is an amazing, beautiful gallery powered by Spatial. So fans can access the gallery from the cover of the magazine, scanning the QR code. They can visit Vogue Singapore's website and click into the Metaverse Gallery, or they can visit spatial.io from their phone, Android or iPhone, a VR headset, like our Oculus devices, and from their average laptop or computer, visiting spatial.io and visit the Vogue Singapore gallery. That gallery is extremely exciting. The first entry of Vogue Singapore into the metaverse. So it's both surreal, beautiful. It has this gorgeous pink dune sand across the space. A beautiful moon sits in the sky, and it really transports our fans and readers into fashion's new world. So when you're there, there's multiple different touch points to the Vogue Singapore experience. First, fans can experience this new couture fashion. So anybody who visits spatial.io, we have 2 new looks brought to us by Vogue Singapore, designed by the couture designer Yiming Yu, who is an up-and-coming fashion designer from China. She's absolutely incredible, and she sculpted in 3D 2 new couture looks brought to us for the opening of Vogue Singapore. So you can try on those looks. They are compatible with Ready Player Me, which is our avatar system in Spatial. Additionally, we're showing incredible work by Terry Gates. He is an AI artist. And in his piece that is shown in the Vogue gallery, we're exploring that techism even further. What does it mean for humans to interact with AI, and how will technology change us in the future? So you can visit the Vogue Singapore space, powered in Spatial. You can view Terry Gates' new artwork. done in AI, and purchase it through Vogue Singapore's gallery. And you can also premiere some of what's to come in Vogue's new world through Spatial. We'll be opening a new space in October 2022 for Vogue. And this is the start of many different collaborations with both Vogue Singapore and Brighthorn.
So something more like a fashion photography. You're going to showcase with the supermodels, right?
I love that. Yes, well, it's definitely an exciting time when we start thinking about runway or how digital fashion can be represented on a runway in a digital space. Jinha, I know you get very excited when we talk about fashion and form and art. How do you believe that digital architecture can influence, fashion presentations as we're starting to see in Vogue Singapore?
I guess the key thing about what digital architecture can do for the fashion and any kind of the visual industries is that the digital architecture, unlike traditional architecture, it is adaptive. So which means two things. Like one, I think when you think about the lifespan of any building that's actually built, it is easily decades from hundreds of years. So that means even if the kind of content or cultural the aspect of how it's used change, like transform, like it can't really change the architecture itself versus like the digital architecture. It's very adaptive, so you can actually design around the ideas or values or interests and iterate as you design it. And like the Vogue is a perfect example. Like the space is really built to elevate the idea the Vogue is promoting. Like we want to promote people to express themselves more and have an inclusive environment where everyone can come in with their ideas, but still like weave into each other like beautifully. So that's like really built into the DNA of architecture. And I think the building was designed and like produced within probably like the timeline of a month, not like years. So that means like as Vogue evolved their design and the architecture can also evolve around it to really promote the idea and elevate the brand's kind of the values and turn all like this idea into an experience that their customers and community can really enjoy and be part of. So I think that's like really special about like digital architecture. So Spatial has been very excited about and serious about designing best spaces in the metaverse among the other metaverse landscape. Because like we're architecture into, particularly me, is at least very enthusiastic about like turning kind of architecture into basically like rebuilding internet with architects versus just a flat kind of graphic design. So so that's the role that architecture can play in this new brand metaverse relationship.
When people scan the QR code, they can go to the metaverse and also check out these artwork with these models, AI generated image.
At Spatial, it's as easy, getting into the metaverse is as easy as clicking a link. So they can do that from their computer, they can do it from their Android phone, their iPhone. Once you click that link, you are teleported right into Vogue's new world. So it really, as long as you have that web link, it's that simple. Or you can use the QR code on the cover of the magazine.
Do we need to register account to log in? Use like anonymous to log in?
Absolutely. So, again, Spatial is just that easy. There's less barriers to entry. And so you could either set up an account, which lets you customize your avatar, or you can click the link and you'll be put into a default avatar. No need to download anything unless it's the actual app on iOS. You can just start immediately. Accessibility is always a primary focus at Spatial. We believe the internet needs to meet you where you are, and also Spatial has been around for over 6 years and always been leaders in the AR, XR space. Jinha can speak to that innovation and why we focused on mobile devices as a company.
As we said, like Spatial started off as a AR, VR collaboration platform. So like our DNA was already
in the past. That's really
right. And I think we realized that it is actually striking that a lot of stuff that you need to build for AR and VR, they can, relatively easy to translate to mobile. It's less immersive, but more accessible. So there's like a really interesting trade-off on how each person enjoys spatial in a slightly different way. Some people just like love the immersiveness of it. And they just get into VR and really appreciate the art in a kind of maximum scale and just be immersed by it. Some people just love like hopping around, in their free time, like just open a mobile app on the go, or like just like browse through different rooms and like click on this room, stay for like a minute, try out, just talk to a couple of people and just hop onto other stuff. And then just sometimes a lot of people find new spatial experience on the Twitter, which is used probably more heavily on the mobile side than VR. I guess some people use Twitter on VR, but not as much as they do on the mobile. So then they just click a link and that gets you into the spatial right away. So that way we believe that like people have different kind of preferred ways of getting exposed to this metaverse and the idea of 3D immersive content. So we're trying to include as many people as possible in this journey. So
do you want to share your screen so we can have a quickly look these metaverse?
So yeah, this is the Vogue room, for example, that we just talked about. This is done in collaboration with amazing designer at Vogue, but also a Polycount studio. It's a let's type name. I'm trying to join in without my account so that just to show like what the first time experience is like.
Okay.
So you join in as an avatar. Of course, you can customize your avatar after that, and you can kind of rotate and walk around. And this is the space that's designed in collaboration with Vogue and the Polycount studio, which is a studio who's been doing a lot of amazing work for spatial, collaborating with a lot of brands and artists, building lots of cool spaces that you can find on our picture.
We're joining this space live. And if you see that, so it is a live space, right? The space is always open now because it's public. People can enter from their phones or VR. And so at any point, this venue can have people walk in and out of it, which is really exciting. They're charting towards 10,000 fans this week, heading and visiting this space. It's been extremely popular and trending on Spatial all week. So when you're walking through it, it really transports you into this beautiful, beautiful world. I get really excited about the pink sand dunes. Now, what you're seeing in the center of this space where Jinha is the actual iconic stairway that's also on the cover of the magazine. Fans can take a photo on the stairway, visit the cover, and we've seen quite a few social shares with people taking their Vogue cover. Here, I'll actually change my outfit. It's quite easy to change your fashion in the metaverse, and I'll show you the second look.
So this is like a custom-made metaverse, right?
That's correct. It is completely bespoke.
Nice.
So the space, like Jinha mentioned, was made by these brilliant architects from the studio called Polycount. It's multiple artists who work within the studio. They take various mood boards. So Vogue provided us with beautiful mood boards for the space, their inspiration. They knew exactly what Vogue's new world should look like. And so Polycount took those mood boards and for, a series of weeks, they went back and forth creating various iterations of this space. What's really exciting about Spatial, though, is it became a more productive work stream because Vogue Singapore could collaborate with Polycount and view the builds in Spatial. So as new iterations of the space were being updated, there was never a disconnect of what this space would look like. As each version was built, Vogue Singapore was able to view and continue to iterate on this space with Polycount by viewing the architecture in 3D, in Spatial, ensuring that the space would be built exactly as we expected for the opening. And that's really exciting when we think about 3D architecture, how 3D and the metaverse can impact things like prototyping, architecture, right? Prototyping an event, thinking through what an exhibition can look like digitally, as a digital twin, even to physical exhibitions. So we were able to iterate with the Vogue team many, many times on this. And it's really exciting, to see the place that it's resulted in. It's a beautiful space. And, it just shows the promise of the metaverse on how we can start to co-create together.
You have a lot of guests in the metaverse right now.
Always. This space is very, very popular.
Yeah.
And as you can see, I have some new wings. This is the second stunning look by Yiming.
Yeah, that's a metaverse talk.
That's what we need. We need virtual pets next.
That's our secret feature, the NFT pets that you can carry around in metaverse.
Yeah, but you know what, Jinha, let me share my screen. I'll share some of this beautiful fashion here. So this is the second look. I mean, it's absolutely cute. In Spatial, you can also take a photo and platform that you can share to social. You can also take live video in Spatial, also can be used for social media. We love seeing all the selfies that are coming out. So if you do, visit Vogue's New World on Spatial, definitely get your avatar selfie on your runway. You can walk here. There's also some secret tricks in Spatial that are really fun. So you can take your beautiful avatar photo here. I mean, I think that's a perfect look. I feel like I'm in Vogue now. But, Spatial is so dynamic. Everything from beautiful moving video to hanging with your friends, being able to visit stunning art. If I visit any of these pieces, the other thing that Spatial has that is very unique to the platform is the ease of use when you want to buy digital art. Okay. Now, Spatial doesn't process the transactions, but you can click these links and it'll take you to the actual sales site to purchase the art. So many different artists, just like Vogue, like to include their art and they sell their art on many different places, many sales sites. In Spatial, you can connect to anything from different sales sites to your different web pages to even different metaverse platforms. We really are a central hub for collaboration and really showcasing the breadth of the internet in an immersive 3D space. So all of these pieces are connected through hyperlinks. So you can visit the sales site. If you love the art by Terry Gates, you can purchase it. If you want to support Yiming Yu, you can visit these websites through Spatial. So this gallery is more than a gallery. It's also an amazing immersive hub for fashion, for exploring artwork, and also connecting to what's to come at Vogue Singapore. Promise of the metaverse, right? Being able to bring people from all over the world together. It's really an exciting time. And, this is really just the start with Vogue Singapore. So we look forward to, artists and fans coming to, explore this journey with us as we help merge, the intersection of tech and fashion.
For those, the video, did you upload it or Vogue they upload?
That is their custom video. Yeah, part of this stunning video here is all produced by the Vogue team. So they took their collective assets and put them into the space.
Do you need to get the size of the dimensions to fit in the metaverse?
So video files, 3D files have to be under 100 megabytes, which really helps make sure people have mass accessibility to the platform. But those are very manageable constraints. And in Spatial, you can add things, you can drag and drop files. It's so easy to scale up a file, scale it down. We make building extremely easy. Jinha, do you want to add on to that, some of those constraints in the metaverse?
I guess there are a few different ways to approach this. Like some metaverse platform allows it's to ask you to download like a heavy kind of desktop client, like a program, and you have to run it on the computer. So that way they can like use more directly like resources of computer, GPUs and stuff. Versus like Spatial's priorities and always ability. So we really believe that we're building the next internet, not just like a specific program and stuff. So that way, And that comes with some trade-off, which is the constraint that you just explained. But it also means anyone can run any room in a few seconds and run like a website. So our vision is later on, like if you go to like vogue.com or whichever URL that they're using, it could be, instead of just having 2D website, like 3D experience right away, like just by clicking that link or typing the URL. So for that, we believe as the cloud and internet evolves and the bandwidth improves, that constraint will even just go away. But for now, we're just prioritizing the accessibility because we think that's the future.
Do you have any like a design concept to build these metaverse? It looks like a whole plan, and it also looks like the new plan color this year, lavender.
I think Spatial is like really kind of like we want to be as inclusive as possible. I'm sure like different designer artists have different, tastes and the way to express themselves. So if you go to Spatial CGI, if you show a Explore tab on spatial.io, it shows like a variety of styles, and Vogue is like definitely very like geared towards fashion. But some spaces like they have different cultural spaces from Thailand and different countries, different regions of the world. There's some more corporate looking space for sure, but also there's like extremely artistic, sometimes like very contemporary that you have no idea what that they're trying to do, but it's still somehow very inspiring, very outwardly. In terms of like what space that Spatial as a company provides for free to our users, like we always like seek for like a space that's somehow still grounded to our like a real like life, but still like looking at the future. So that's a combination of like modern, but like extremely outwardly sort of spin of like somehow like you can imagine that architecture can be actually built, but it somehow like goes beyond like your idea of what architecture can do. So that's where we want to land as what we believe what we believe is the best way to transition the idea of a comfortable space from where we are today to the future. Like just be hitting the right balance. Somehow like people can understand and relate themselves to, but still like looking forward and like have a lot of outwardly components, whether it be landscape, skybox, and maybe like gravity is different. And because architecture, if you think about it, it is like thousands of years of battles against gravity. But the thing is, we don't have gravity in metaverse. So what if we rethink architecture without gravity? I think that really changes the design disciplines a lot, and I think we've been enjoying that challenge.
Like how many people that is in these the Vogue Singapore team that you have to build for the project like that? I know you already mentioned this, so there's an architect, there's a artist. There's a program to use to generate those project, and also of course you have your own team to build these metaverse. Like I do like to know.
Well, there of course the Vogue Singapore has their own creative and design team that really started with the inception and the planning of this activation. But, I don't want it to seem intimidating, right? Polycount is an incredible studio of amazing artists who work collaboratively to build these spaces. But we've seen everything from single artists who are in Blender or Unity building incredible spaces. I think 3D architecture, and Jinha will speak more to this, people are definitely spending more time on these programs, and it's exciting to see people explore architecture. But it's not something that only a giant studio, a massive studio can create. Anybody can be a creator, and there's wonderful softwares like Sketchfab and Blender and things that'll help you build these incredible environments to your own taste and explore your own version of architecture. And Jinha, I know you're very passionate about this, so how can we dispel some of the
It's gonna be take to build a metaverse like that?
I think it's like roughly, it really depends. Like if you're serious about it, like just go all in, like you can actually spin off like new space, in the time scale of like a couple weeks, depending on the scale of it. But we tend to really take a lot of care, each detail of the experience in every corner of the room. So that usually takes like 2 months for concepting design, usually like 2 months. We have a team of extremely talented designers and technical artists, roughly 3 people. We call it Spatial Creative Studio. We tend to collaborate a lot with external architects too. So we're launching a new space, for example, tomorrow, actually 2 days from now, where we can talk about it on Friday more. But yeah, it's that's like, for example, like a collaboration between our creative studio and the Devha Kang's design studio, who's like former architect from Zaha Hadid, who's really good at parametric design, is very much into new concept of VR architecture and stuff. It depends, but usually 2 months.
We really walk the line between being visually stunning and ultimately accessible, whether it's your phone VR or your computer. And I think, when you look at Spatial, there's a lot that's going to be evolving over time, but we see it as a marathon, not a sprint. We want to create these beautiful, artistic, immersive experiences, and the technology will proving over time. But it's just incredible to see what's been built. And I'm really looking forward to people visiting Fashion's New World by Vogue Singapore. It's an incredible, incredible space. Vogue Singapore is a champion for digital artists globally. And so if you're interested in joining their community, maybe you want to share your art with them or explore fashion with us, I hope you'll meet us on that journey in the metaverse with Vogue Singapore. And we'll be opening our newest space with them October 1st of 2022. And so I'm looking forward to everyone enjoying that, and stay tuned for digital fashion.
Yeah, there's a lot of potentials, a lot of possibilities I can see. And also congratulations, Spatial is a really great app to use and a great metaverse.
Next time we'll do this one all in space.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so thank you so much.
Thank you, bye.